Hey everyone, I just wanted to give an update on my rogue after day one. We're a little over 24 hours of play time in season one. I want to kind of give my thoughts, feedback on the season, my rogue, where we're at, what we're clearing, and sort of the process of how we got here. So a lot of what I did was in the spreadsheet that I provided in my Sork leveling guide. So if you're still having trouble getting to this point or leveling up through the game and getting through World Tier 4, I highly recommend checking that out. I'll leave a link in the video description on that video and the resources that I provided. But that's what I've been following, and I was playing with a group, so we really had a nice strong start. So you can see already, I am level 80. I have progressed and finished the entirety um, of the battle pass. So I think maybe normally you would have to be level 90 to finish it, but I had ordered the Ultimate Edition, so I'm all done. I've unlocked the final mount skin. It was actually pretty cool. Seasonal blessings. I don't even know if I'm all caught up on these. For the most part, I was interested in getting the experience seasonal blessings up as fast as possible. There's some more here. I'll put them in here. After experience, boosted experience, I'm boosting the percent chance to get rare materials from salvaging. So I think those are pretty good for progressing your character. I've progressed a little bit of the season journey here. It wasn't my primary focus. Primary focus was on leveling, gearing up, and here's where we are. So I'll go over the gear real quick. I'm running Twisting Blades. Spent a good time rolling my gear, getting the right aspects on, and this is where we're at the moment. We've got Helm with Poison and Life on Kill. The Life on Kill is for some extra sustain. Siphoning Strike did get a bit of a nerf this season, so the Life on Kill is helping us sustain some of our life. Just a great like 4 defensive roll armor. Really happy with this. This is helping us to push Nightmare Dungeons while we're a bit underleveled. So I'm going to run a pretty high tiered Nightmare Dungeon for this level after I go over the gear and the skills. Gloves, we've got Twisting Blades, Lucky Hit, Crit Strike. Pants, this was another great find. These dropped with a 4 defensive stat rolls. I think I might roll off the damage reduction while injured, but for now, we're going to keep it on. Penitent Greaves, I was actually lucky enough to drop not 1, but 2 Penitent Greaves already. I'll show you all the uniques that I've dropped so far so you can kind of see the distribution of what's dropped. Blade Dancers in the crossbow, Blast Trapper on the amulet. This is a +3 imbuement amulet with cooldown and extra imbuement skill cooldown. Bursting Venoms on the ring, and I want to go over my my hearts that are in these, my Malignant Hearts, which is the seasonal mechanic. Bursting Venoms on the ring and Umbral on the other ring. For weapons, Intercom on a sword, and we dropped in Ashira's, so that was really cool. So we're using Ashira's. Here is the distribution of uniques that I've found so far. So you see I'm wearing Penitent Greaves and Ashira's. I found multiple Fists of Fate as well. So, I mean, we might be ready for Lilith already, but we're gonna take our time. We're gonna build up and get there and make some progress on our Paragon board, which I'll show in a sec. We've dropped 2 Eagle Horn bows, and man, this 802 Eagle Horn really makes me want to think about making a penetrating shot build. I think this is a really cool build. We haven't found Wind Force or Sky Hunter yet, but 2 Eagle Horns, Razor Plate, Condemnation in addition to the Ashira's, Penitent Greaves, a number of the unique amulets have dropped, and that's kind of our unique distribution. For specializations, we're using the Inner Sight. We're combining that with Edge Masters to get, a nice boost to our damage when we're at full energy. Skill tree. Let's go over it. So pretty much in line with the guide that I provided. We've got Puncture. We've got so I'm maxing Sturdy and Siphoning Strike right now. It's just because I'm pushing high tier Nightmare Dungeons to get additional experience and level up faster. the defense is really important here. So think about it when you're at level 100 and you're trying to push like a level 70. That's the equivalent of pushing a 50 at level 80, you know? So we really want to load up on the defensive attributes. This is more along the lines of what an N tier Nightmare Dungeon, you know, passive tree would look like. So extra defense where we can get it. Discipline Shadow Step for the cooldown reduction, countering Poison Trap to replenish our Poison Imbue, Debilitating Toxins again for more damage reduction, Innervation for some sustain, Trap Mastery, and we're running Exposure because we were running Dual Trap, Death Trap, and Poison Trap. So this works out really, really well. Paragon Board, you can see we're working towards the Paragon Board that we had set out in the planner. So we're 4 boards in so far, and we're still working on them, but we've got our Exploit online. This is upgraded to 15, and we've got the requirements met. We're running Closer in the starter board, and we've got the 40 decks. We've got combat all up to 15 as well, and we've got the intelligence requirements right here, so those are all set. We've got exploit weaknesses and cheap shot for our legendary nodes, and you know, the rest is pretty much what's in the planner. So we're gonna keep working on this, but so far this feels really, really good. We're still working up here. We need to upgrade versatility to 15 so that it hits both of these nodes, but we'll get there soon as we continue doing Nightmare Dungeons. So the way we leveled up was pretty much in the spreadsheet. You know, we stuck to Strongholds and Nightmare Dungeons when it came to Worlds Tiers 3 and 4. In World Tier 2, we did mostly Strongholds to level up. But here's what, I'm just going to run the highest Nightmare Dungeon that I have. It's a 37. So these mobs will be over level 90, which is over the cap for experience that you can get. So I'll pop that open. But actually, first, I just want to show you the Malignant Hearts. So Malignant Hearts, the new addition to the season are here. The ones that I'm using are... There's this Devious Heart, where after you spend a certain amount of primary resources, your next attack stuns enemies. So this is just good sort of CC. This is a really great one. This blue Malignant Heart, which is Trickery. So Cage Heart of Trickery. Whenever you use a subterfuge skill, you leave behind a shadow decoy. So this is cool because it works with our poison trap. So essentially, whenever we lay a poison trap, here, we'll teleport to the Nightmare Dungeon that we just set up. And I'll show you, whenever we lay a poison trap now, a decoy shows up and the enemies go and attack that decoy, which is really great just to, you know, get some of the attention off you, have them run into the poison trap rather than away. There's the decoy. If any monsters were around, they would come and attack it, and then it explodes for some damage as well. And then the other one I'm using here is just a chance to drop stun grenades. But what I really want to show you, I haven't put it in yet. I think I might put it in now, actually. Is I just got a second one of these white Malignant Hearts that do some crazy mods to them. So I'll show you. These are I'm nervous to put them in because they're so good, but so this is one of them. This is just based on which type of socket you put in, whether it's a vicious, brutal, or devious socket. It gives you you know, a cycle of a bonus through for every 20 kills, and then this is the one that's really good for our poison build. Is your damage over time effects are increased by 46.5%. This one's 47.5%. For each crowd control effect. So we do a number of different crowd control effects. You saw, you know, we had stun being active. We have, if we threw on Fist of Fate, we would be getting immobilize and daze. Once we get Mangler aspect, we'll be dazing more. I don't have Mangler aspect at the moment. I haven't dropped it yet. But in addition to that, we have our Twisting Blades, which is also dazing. So whenever we're impaling with our Twisting Blades, we're dazing. So this is just bonus damage on our damage over time effects, which would be our poison imbue. So really cool. My rings aren't great yet, so that's the only reason I've resisted on socketing these. But hey, what the heck? For the video, we'll put one in. So let's put in our new Malignant Heart, and we'll get a little bit of a boost to our damage. So let's go ahead and run our Nightmare Dungeon. I'll show you how it plays out. Now this is over 10 levels higher than our current level, so you at most you want to run 10 levels. You don't really want to run much higher than that because you're losing out on the XP bonus. It caps at 10 levels above you. But it's a pretty powerful build, so it's capable of doing that and more. But I'll show you how it plays out here, and if you're not comfortable running this high of a Nightmare Dungeon, you could always stick to 2-3 levels higher than you, and you'll still get a great bonus just from that alone. So we'll go through. You can see the poison damage here. It's just shredding through everything. Thankfully, we have a decent amount of health thanks to our aspects. We've got a number of defensive aspects, as well as this looks like maybe a malignant. Yeah, so these malignant beasts you'll find in Nightmare Dungeons as well. So even without the poison damage, we're getting some pretty good damage here. Here you can see the decoy attracting aggro and then exploding. And we're very underleveled here compared to the level of dungeon that we're fighting, so we're gonna take some pretty big chunks. Again, if you're playing hardcore, I don't recommend going, this high up so early. You definitely want to stick to closer around your level, but we're on softcore, so we can kind of push it. You see our damage is more than sufficient here. It's really what can you survive at this point with the build. If you can survive long enough to deal your damage, you will kill just about anything you encounter. And I've been really having fun with this. In terms of which Nightmare Dungeons I've been running, there's some great guides out there that rank, the tiers of each Nightmare Dungeon based on whether you're a solo or a group player. I usually try to stick to the B or above tiers on that list. I'll have the list in the video description. If you're overwhelmed at the choice of which Nightmare Dungeons to run, that was a good guide that I used to determine which would be the best without having to go in and test every single one. Those have been what I've been sort of using as a guide here. So we've got slay all enemies. Go through and it just tears through them like a hot knife through butter. And as you level up, this is going to continue to grow in power. So we're not even at our full potential. We've still got 20 levels worth of Paragon points. We've got plenty of upgrades available on our items as well. And this is just meant to show you sort of what the build is capable of when you're really pushing Nightmare Dungeons that are quite a bit level higher than you are in the early game. This is if you want to really push the leveling to the limits. Level not only as fast as possible your experience, but also your glyph experience as well.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Okay, more than enough to survive, even with the significant level difference. The rogue is surviving just fine. We've boosted up our lucky hit a bit with some of our affixes. So we are still benefiting from the Siphoning Strike. It's definitely helping out with our sustain. When the Siphoning Strike is not enough, make sure you're upgrading your potion. Take the time to go and find the materials you need to upgrade your potion, because that's a big, just a nice source for the rogue, especially that doesn't have a whole lot of options when it comes to sustain. That'll really help you out. So here we're gonna finish off the dungeon. $12 remain. But I missed a spot.
I'm not ready yet.
There we go. So I mean, this was easy. Likely could have done maybe another 10 levels higher than this. And continued leveling up our versatility here. So the Nightmare Dungeons have just been a great source of item upgrades. You get the glyph upgrades, you get really good drops, you get really good experience. You know, almost a quarter bar just from that one. And this build has been doing really, really well in them. So I hope that this is helpful for you. You can kind of see where I'm at the start of this season. Really enjoying the Malignant Hearts. They add a cool new flair to the build, gives you some new tech that we didn't have before, and the rogue is feeling good. So I hope you guys are enjoying your season, and let me know if this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, come hang out and stream, or ask them in the comments where I'm live streaming my season journey. So enjoy. I'll see you out there. Peace.